Hello and welcome to today's video. It is time for another read as we go manga vlog. So the first one I did of this was in March 2023 and then I did another in September 2023. So now that we're back to March, I'm like, let's do another. Let's make this a 6th monthly thing, I guess. If you're new to these, basically what I do is when I read a volume, I immediately vlog, or roughly as soonish as I can afterwards, vlog my thoughts about it. So it's all super fresh and I can tell you exactly what I thought about it. And I do this for the entire month and then I smush it all together and that makes this video. So it is March 1st and I actually have to be up in like 4 hours to go and drive to Hull. So yeah, I did realise I hadn't filmed the intro and I was starting to read and I was like, I want to try and film this intro before I get on the road tomorrow, and I'm super knackered tomorrow because I'm just about to go to bed. I say I'm just about to go to bed. I'm just about to finish reading a volume first because I didn't quite finish reading this before the end of February, so this will be my first read. I'm like halfway through this one. She's my knight. And then the Empress sent this big chunk of new release volume 1s to me like yesterday, which was perfect timing. So these are going to be the first reads of the month. I've had a fair few people express interest in my thoughts on some of these series. Actually, I think there's one missing. Unholy Blood, that's still in the study, so I need to grab that as well. I'm going to try and take a bunch to read with me. So I think tomorrow at the event I'm at, I might be sat around for part of the day, so I'm hoping to try and get some reading in. As always, remember to give this video a like and subscribe for so much more manga content. If you're interested in early access, check out my channel memberships, 99p a month, and be sure to join the Dudette Discord server. At this very point in time, we're like so close to 1,000 members. I really hope by the time this goes up we've hit 1,000 members and we'll be doing so many games, giveaways and stuff and events. I'm really excited, so definitely join and be sure to check it out. We're a wholesome, wonderful community, I promise you. I don't know if you can hear a weird noise next to me, but let me show you who it is. And she just left. Yuna, no! Say hello, Yuna. If I start, she always just wraps her legs. Can you hear her purring? She loves her armpits being scratched. Look at that. Look at that. She just stretches her arm out. She loves it. What a strange cat. You have itchy armpits, Yuna. So I've just finished filming my February haul and I thought I need to talk about the damn things I've read in March. I have 3 to talk to you about. In fact, 2 of them were in my February haul, so there are going to be some repeats between the 2. Hopefully, it's only 2 volumes, I think. So first off, I finished reading She's My Knight Volume 1. This actually did end up taking me like 3 days to get through. I didn't necessarily think it was bad. I just don't think I was necessarily in the mood for it, and instead of like putting it down and reading something else, I just slogged my way through it. It's another, is that a cat? There you go. Okay, well now I'll point the camera down so you can see the cat. See the mess from the hole. Don't judge me, Mika. I don't even know what you can see anymore. She's My Knight. I thought it was okay. It's another one of those cute kind of high school, she's gone again, cute kind of high school romances where they both obviously kind of like each other. Well, no, he very much likes her but is too shy to talk about it, and a whole lot of it is just them being awkward around each other with their emotions and stuff, and it's so cute. So the trope, the thing that makes this one a bit different is he's meant to be like a bit of a popular guy. All the girls like him. Apart from this girl who is, she's kind of that stereotypical prince girl, I guess. If you think like in the clear moonlit dusk. She's quite tall, she's taller than him, she's very princely, she's very kind, she's nice, everyone loves her, even the girls. And he has fallen for her. And he's a bit like denying it, that he denies it a bunch at the beginning, and then like he kind of accepts it, and everyone else knows that he likes her. And they kind of tried to get them together a whole bunch, and it's really, really cute. But I just don't think I was in the mood for it reading it. Also, look at this amused me. Look how many chapters there are in this thing. That is so many chapters. I mean, loads of them are bonus chapters, but still, that is a lot. Would I recommend it? Potentially. I can't tell at the moment if the issue was I wasn't in the mood or it was bad. I like these sort of low stakes, really cute romances, but yeah, there are quite a few of them, like Kubo and the girl forgot her glasses, and it's kind of that kind of trope, I want to say. Next we got if the villainess and the villain met and fell in love. She was all but disowned in her spirit contract, but she's still competing with her rival. So this was sent to me by Yen Press. Yen Press sent me a box, I think I've already said actually. So this was one that was sent to me by Yen Press. Obviously it was the first one I read. It's a Villainess title and I love Villainess. I thought it was okay though, unfortunately. So in this series we once again start off with her fiance, the prince, ending their engagement, and she's like, but why? The engagement is off, never speak to us again. Us again? Yeah. And she's like, well, now what? So in this world, it's quite common for people to create contracts with these like spirits, and they're kind of ranked depending. Unfortunately, when she is a child and forms her contract, she forms it with a unnamed spirit, which is considered like bad. So she ends up being sort of orchestrated a bit by her family, by her peers, sort of thing. She's not treated very well because of it. Now she does manage to end up engaged to a prince, which she ends up then being treated a bit better. However, this prince turns out to not be the best, I guess. She loved studying. She loved studying about spirits, even though she couldn't necessarily form a great connection with hers due to the weakness or something. We don't know yet. And the prince is kind of like, I kind of like girls who are a bit dumb and don't know anything. And because of that, she just stops doing her studying. She starts dressing a certain way, doing her makeup in a certain way, acting ditzy, and it's really heartbreaking. And then post-engagement, she's like, screw this, I'm going to do what I always wanted to do. I want to study and earn a doctorate in spirits or spiritology. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. She wants to earn a doctorate, and it's something to do with the spirits. However, she's kind of started to earn the attention of this guy who is sort of referred to as the villain. He's kind of a standoffish, no nonsense, doesn't really care to talk to people kind of guy. But they kind of sort of form a kind of camaraderie, I guess. Especially as his initial image of her was a ditzy woman just hanging off the arm of the prince. He realizes that actually no, that's not who she is. She is a studious woman with interests and goals that she wants to achieve. And yeah, there's kind of like nothing too romancy yet. I'm not sure it's going to be much of a spoiler, considering the title is called They Met and Fell in Love. Nothing like that's really happened yet. I've enjoyed it, but it has been, in my opinion, okay. I wish it was better. I hope that we get some more world building in the upcoming volumes. I feel like that's slightly what I was missing with this one. I want more world building and more to learn more about spirits. I want the two of them spend more time together. Please. Yeah. And then the next volume I have read is Unholy Blood, Volume 1, also sent to me by Empress. Actually, I think all the next volumes are going to be ones sent to me by Empress as I make my way through them. So this is a new Easy Press release from Yempress. It is a manhwa. It is set in a world where vampires have started to emerge from somewhere. And you have kind of two types of vampires. You have a regular bog standard turned vampire, and you have a pure blood vampire, which is our main character here on the front of the volume. Isn't she absolutely gorgeous? She is very nice to look at in this volume. Now, our main character, she was born a vampire. She's a pure-blooded vampire. She just wants to live a normal life though, so all these terrible things are happening. People are trying to shut down vampires. There are curfews set in place to try and limit vampire attacks. She just wants to live a calm, normal life. She wants to go to college, make friends, study, everything that a regular person does. However, things are never that simple, unfortunately, and it seems like something's coming and knocking, and we'll have to keep reading to see what that is. It's interesting when she is like not, I don't know what the word is, not vampire presenting, kind of just looks like that. She just looks like a normal human, like that. And then when she kind of has some heightened emotions or something happens, she changes to look like this, and it is very obvious that she is now a vampire. It was a very pretty read. I did enjoy it. I think I do want more volumes though before I like form a better assessment. I think it's probably not going to be at like the top of my Easy Press favourites, but it's still up there. Like, I think there's only been a couple of Easy Press series where I've not been a massive fan. I have otherwise enjoyed a lot of them. I've been really enjoying all these manhwas. I'm really excited by all of them. Not even just the manhwas by Easy Press, though they are great, but there's a whole bunch by Seven Seas out at the moment, Dangerous Convenience Store one. So I've been loving it, and as someone who only reads physical, it's been wonderful seeing all these series that have been digital getting these physical prints for people like me. So excited. I need to decide what to read next. I would pick from the stack next to me, but as you can see, it's a bit of a mess and I'm not sure. Let's see if I can show you. So this is the aftermath of my haul video, and in here there are Yen Press volumes somewhere. There's one. That might be a one-shot actually. There are some more in here. I think I might read the book one, if I can find the book one. Oh dear. That might be the one I read next. Oh, there's a bunch in here. How does the alphabet go again? A, B, C, D, E, F. I treat my volumes. There it is. Oh no. Oh no. I think I'll read this one next. I think I'm now gonna pack up, go upstairs, because it is like 11 o'clock at night, and then do some reading in the bedroom, hopefully, without falling asleep. Hello. It has been like a while since I recorded one of these. I'm so upset. Basically, I've just been so busy, and I had a work presentation that I've kind of sunk all of my time for the last week into, and I literally have just given it right now, like 5-10 minutes ago. Mika. Oh, we've got a cat. Cat does not want to say hello. Oh my god. So I have read a few volumes. Unfortunately, we're almost halfway through the month and I have read nowhere near what I usually do. I'm hoping to have a bit more free time now that I've done my presentation and a few other things that I can read a bit and then talk about it. Also, I need to unbox this, which actually goes off camera, but it is like 8 foot of parcels. It's much taller than me at this point. This is my sci-fi from like my stream, a follow-up order, and then a little follow-up order. There were a few before the discount code went from 10% to 5%, and also probably a huge amount of what's in here is what I'm going to read for the rest of the month, hopefully. As a Yuna is on the table amusing. As like a, oh my god, as like a well done for doing my presentation, I did let myself open one of my little parcels, like an individual parcel early, and guess what was in it? Ah! This is my little treat. So even though I was naughty and I am going to unbox this hopefully over the weekend, so I don't even need to wait that long, I got myself a little treat. I'm going to be reading this evening, and I'm very happy and excited. I love it. I love it so much. Everyone needs to read Beans and I need to fill my chalice. But I will talk to you more about Beans when I've actually read it. I sure hope you're excited for that unhinged part of the video. Let me go. What have I read? I can't remember what I've talked to you about now because it's taken me a few days to read a volume because I'm reading like a chapter before bed. Not even a volume before bed, a chapter before bed. I don't think I've talked about Whoever Steals This Book Volume 1. It's one of my Yen Press books that was sent to me. So in this story was set in like a village that is obsessed with books. Everyone loves books and it's based around this family who had someone like this guy was obsessed with books, collected loads of books, built basically a big massive library, and then continued the book obsession to his children, and it ended up sort of influencing the town, and the town is now also equally book obsessed. Now we've hit the current generation with this girl here with the brown hair who hates books. She hates books. Books are the worst. Oh, basically because of like her family's legacy, it's just sort of put her off reading, which like I can understand. That's quite a common thing. Like if you parents are quite into it and push it on you, you can end up fighting back and it can ruin something even if potentially great, that kind of thing. Because there were a few thefts a couple of generations ago, I think it was with her grandmother potentially, the family massive library thingaroonie has been locked off to the public. Currently no one can go in, but family, can you all, cats, please stop getting on that little stool that I'm using. Use anything else to climb up, just not this. It's been sealed off to the public, no one can get in, and she kind of feels like sometimes people are just trying to make friends with her so they can gain access to the building, so she kind of also doesn't have that many friends because of that. Currently, her and her dad are not living there. Her aunt lives there and kind of just reads books, and sometimes she helps look after her aunt by like dropping off food for her, and the story kind of starts with her going by to drop off some food for her aunt, but her aunt is like sleeping, and then there's some odd noises, and walks down the hallway, and then there's this strange girl here there saying, read this book, and then some other weird things happen, and basically it seems that some of the books have gotten stolen from the library, but there's a curse placed on all the books that if a book is stolen, the surrounding village sort of enters that book. So I don't know how to explain it without just like going down a whole rabbit hole. This book is stolen about these two brothers who have been fighting a while back, and it can influence weather and all such. And she leaves the house, the library building, and that book is now real. It's happening in the village around her. And to make things go back to normal, she has to find the thief. So we wrap up her finding the thief of this one in Yuna. Stop sniffing the phone. It smells like a phone. They wrap up catching the first thief in the first volume, and then we've begun a second book theft by the end of the volume where we've kind of, it's like a 1950s gangster, 1940s gangster New York style Dame Broad, all that kind of thing, where books are being banned. So it feels like it's going to be like an episodic, entering different books, and maybe she'll start to love to learn books again by being immersed in them. I'm not sure. I think I liked it. I think what didn't help it was I was properly struggling to read because of just not having enough time, which meant that it took me about 3-4 days to get through it, and it just ended up being a bit disjointed for me. But I think that was more of me. I did quite enjoy it. I liked that it wasn't just one. I thought it was going to end up just being one book that we were like exploring for the entire series, but it looks like no, we're going to explore a few books, and I like that, so I'm looking forward to that. And also it's matte and it looks really nice and pretty. What else did I read? I read Acho Bambi Volume 1. This is kind of neat because it's got like colour. It's kind of red and blue is the only colour. There isn't even any black, I don't think. Like even the outlines of everything is in either red or blue. I was kind of surprised to see it in this like 4-coma style. I'm not sure if 4-coma is even the right way to describe the style of this, because it's not even like, because usually in 4-coma you can almost read one of these and it kind of has something to wrap it up in the bottom one. It's not like a full story wrap up, but it like concludes something, and it's not really the case with this. This is like the story just continues on. It's just presented in a column 4 box format, I guess. So the story is a guy has moved to this apartment and he writes stories, basically. He writes, I think, horror stories, and his current column, whatever, is just about to be axed, and he's trying to come up with something new to write about. At which point, it turns out that he has a ghost living in his apartment, and they end up kind of forming a friendship, and he ends up starting to write a story about the ghost. So Acho and Bambi are the names of the characters. Acho is the name of the ghost, and Bambi is the name of the guy who does the writing, I guess. There is a bunch more to it, such as, is she actually a ghost? Is she actually dead? And some other odd stuff. I know it's okay. This, again, it reminded me a little bit of Glitch, also published by Yen Press, in that kind of odd town, small town mystery kind of story. If that's your kind of thing, I would definitely recommend it. I kind of liked the art in it being red and blue scale was kind of different and neat, and I thought it contrasted really well and looked really pretty, but I'm still not too sure on this myself yet. Okay, next we have, and it's not a Yen Press, I wanted to try reading something a bit random and different. We have Ogami Can't Keep It In Volume 1. This is by Kodansha. I did actually unfortunately nick it. I damaged it a little. very silly. I did that, my bad. And I think I got this at Christmas, and I've been meaning to read it for ages. It's been in and out of my basket so long. And I did finally read it, and I loved it. I really loved it. And I'm mad at myself for A, not reading it sooner, and B, not throwing the rest of the volumes in my sci-fi parcel so it would be in those boxes. Actually mad at myself. Currently, I think 4 has just come out, so it's not quite cheap enough yet on sci-fi, but I could get 2 and 3. I might place one this evening because it is Liddy's birthday stream, and I might place a wee little basket alongside with it, especially if there's any new releases, and also get 2 and 3 of this. Basically, I would describe this as like Cant Communicate meets Oh Maidens of Your Savage Season, in terms of it is about a girl who struggles to make friends, mostly because she feels like there's something wrong with her because of all the thoughts she's having. She feels like her thoughts are always really perverted. Her thoughts are kind of like, what does a guy look like down there? How does it work? Do guys get hairy armpits? How do girls, they go swimming and some of the girls have really smooth pits, and she's like, how do they do that? And it's kind of like very an open-minded question of not just like sexuality, but like their own bodies, both women and men bodies, along the aspect of all these sort of slight people who don't think they're normal being like, I can't make friends, and is like as part of it as well. And there's a group of them who always think that they can't make friends because they're a bit different from the normal, and they end up sort of congregating together, and it is adorable, and I loved it. It was so sweet. It made me so happy to read it. I was really worried it was going to be a little bit like another series I read. I forgot the name of it. It's a one-shot, and it's covered in mushrooms on the cover. I'll see if I can find a cover and put it here. I didn't like that one. I did not like any of the characters. I didn't like any of the characters, which really put me off reading it. I hated it. So I was a bit worried reading the premise this was going to be kind of similar, but no, I think it goes down the more like Oh Maidens kind of route, and I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I love high school stuff where it's about characters being more like, I just want to understand, I don't understand, and being, I'm not sure if I'm explaining this well, but I really enjoyed it. Is there another thing? Yeah, so this guy has a very odd quirk where if anyone touches him, they say like the thing that's in their mind, like that they say their truths, I guess. So she like, because she has all these like, I want to see perverted sort of thoughts, when she accidentally touches him, she just like blurts out, I want to see your wiener. And she's like, shit, why did I say that? And then he's like open and honest and says, actually, I have this weird issue. It means that, and he's like, I've never told someone that before. I've never been open myself because I'm the one person that can't blurt out my own thoughts because it's me. I can't like touch myself or anything. They form a really cute relationship, and there are other characters as well. Really loved it. Would recommend this, especially if you enjoyed Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season. I'd recommend this. I think that's everything I've read so far. However, I have been trying to make my way through B-Strings. You can see I have a bookmark. I actually started reading this before I read any of these. But I found this really hard to get through. Do I have a page to show you why? So just reading it, I find that, the pages are full. There is so much going on. That's part of my problem. Part of it is there's so much going on. I can't stay focused. It's really draining to read this. It's not even that bad. It's about like a world where there are like beasts kind of live, like anthropomorphic beasts live in harmony with humans, and it's about random characters and their daily lives in the city. It's quite interesting, and it is very beautiful. It is so intricate, but there is just almost so much going on. I'm really struggling to take it all in when I'm reading, and I feel like I'm using a lot of like mental load just to try and follow. Because just on like a small scene where there's like one panel, there's like so much detail. But I do really love that it's a rainbow and all the it's all rainbow like that on the inside. So I think I'm just gonna do it slowly. I'll do a chapter every couple of days or so and work my way through it slowly. But yeah, I'll talk a bit more when I've actually finished it, but I have been trying to make progress on this. Hello, it has been, I think, over a week now since I recorded my last little what have I been reading. I haven't been doing too good the last few days, so I have been doing some reading, but I haven't done any recording really. So I've got a whole bunch to talk to you about. I'm going to try and go through these in the order I read them, I think. So the first one I read was Cant Communicate 28. I had been waiting a long while to be able to get this volume. Yuna, hello. It just kept being really painful to find for a decent price. It wasn't going down in price on Sci-Fi. Eventually I did pick it up on Amazon because it's actually 3 for 2 price on Amazon, but it also was like cheaper than 3 for 2 on Blackwell's. I don't know. I was just really happy to get it because I was like in a bad mood and it was cheering me up. I do love Comey. I still love Comey. I know a lot of people are like, it's repetitive, and it's like, I don't care. We had some real wholesome moments in this, especially with, well, remember, I'm going to spoil all the volumes I read in this video. We had some real wholesome moments between Tadano meeting Comey's parents and them like being all sweet on him, and also moments with him and her dad. That was super adorable as well. Reading this just like it's like a nice breath of fresh air. I really love the series. I'm gonna be super bummed when it ends. I know a lot of people are like, finally, I couldn't keep track of that many friends. It's like, that's not the point. Okay, the next volume I read is a bit random. Basically, I was kind of stuck like in a corner of the living room and waiting for something to install, and I needed to watch it to make sure it was going to be okay, and I wasn't in my basket, so I just grabbed a volume next to me on the shelf I needed to read, and that was My Secret Affection Volume 2. Now this is the last volume in the series. It is complete at 2 volumes. It has some weird controversy around it because it is a bit weird. The whole a meteor lands and then everyone is gay, basically. Oh, the sunlight's hitting me weird now. Oh, the problem of using natural light. Both cats are like just sat right here, like staring at me. I'm not sure how I felt on the ending of this. Basically, she kind of ends up admitting her feelings for the guy, and I was too a bit unclear about the ending, like if he had romantic feelings for her or he cared enough about her to try giving a relationship a go. I wasn't too sure. Basically, they end up together at the end and they start dating. The weird sunlight's gonna kill me. Let's sit all the way back here. I just keep pulling the camera back so the sun run away from the sun. I think I gave this a solid like 5-6 out of 10. I don't think it's like the worst thing I've read, but it's definitely not amazing. It's a nice chunky volume, I guess. It very much felt rushed. It's quite pretty though. Yay. Next, we have The Otherworld's books depend on the bean counter 4. Now, a part of me did originally consider recording myself reading this for my reaction. I kind of wish I had, but really wasn't very well at that point, and no one needed to see that. Mika, don't you dare. How can I expand on my love for this series? Volume 4 was equally as beautiful as the rest of it. I am just so happy that I was blessed with yet another volume of Bean Counter to read when I was feeling down, and it could pick me up. Where are some of my favourite panels? Because I am going to be spoiling some of my favourite panels. Here's one really early in the volume when Aresh and Kondo are like canoodling. Kondo's trying to stop him and someone walks in the room and Aresh is like, there's so much reflection, I can't see what I'm showing you. He's like, don't you dare, we're busy, go away. Oh, followed by my potentially favourite panel in the series so far, after maybe the wall bang and who did this to you moments. We have the I've bought a house, move in with me. Story-wise, basically what's been happening is at the end of volume 3, they've kind of gone on an expedition with the saint, goddess, lady, heroine, maiden, to try and reduce some of the miasma, which is causing all these monsters to appear and bad things to happen. Kondo is trying to come up with a way for them to dispel the miasma without the need for a maiden, and also figure out a way for them to go back home. Now, at the start of the volume, after we've done the miasma and they've done their cuddling, we spend a bunch of time in court with the king, and Kondo is trying to explain, am I on the right pages? He's trying to explain how this is potentially going to be better financially for the kingdom. He's done the like projections and such on how much it costs to look after the maiden, do the expeditions, as opposed to his other method. He also comes up with some suggestions on how they could potentially research a way for them to both go back home, which of course potentially could lead to some difficulties in the relationship he's now starting to form with Aresh. Now, in this volume, we also see Aresh being quite open and blunt about his feelings, whereas Kondo's a bit like, I'm not really sure, because like I've not really thought of it, and I don't really have the time to think about it, because I'm doing my accountancy stuff. I don't know if you can hear me zooming on the bed, but she's doing laps. She's doing laps. Little zoomy laps. But you definitely starting to think a bit more about his feelings by the end of the volume, and it is... The pain in me is now like, when is volume 5 going to come out? It's going to be another year. I'm fairly sure the gap between 3 and 4 was about a year. Yeah, Empress, please. I have volume 5 in Japanese. It's one of like I think it's the only Japanese manga volume I own is volume 5 of this. I'm tempted to get the rest just from like, it'll be nice to collect and for my beanie shrine. Oh great, now they're fighting. But I do also have the light novel, and I will be doing a live stream where I read some of that light novel on stream. Obviously not the whole thing, there'll just be some like extracts probably, but I've been avoiding it because I kind of want to read it fresh live. I will definitely be rereading this a few times because I was really not very good when I originally read this. I thought it might like, I don't know, make me feel better or something. But no, it didn't quite have that capability, which is a shame, because it should. All hail beans. Next volume I read, as you could probably have seen behind me, all those boxes of sci-fi goodness have gone, because I did film the unboxing last weekend. It took me over almost 3 hours, and I used 2 cameras. So you're gonna have to bear with me for the editing. It might have gone up before this video goes up, maybe not for members, but it's going to take me a hot minute to get through, basically. In hindsight, I should have waited and filmed it a few days later because I was like really pushing to get it done, and I got really tired by the end of it, and mine was like flagging, and I think it just looks a bit shit at one point where I'm just like, manga volume isn't that great. Never mind, I've learnt my lesson. Hey ho, it should still be fun to see everything, the piles of manga just build up around me, but I now have all the manga I open to read, and the one I read first was My Boss is a Giant. He manages my every need with enormous skill. And this is a one-shot omni. It has 2 volumes in it. Technically, you can see there in the contents, but it is complete with this one English volume. It is a steamship title, which was one of the reasons I kind of fancied really reading it. I'm going to start it off by saying I did enjoy reading it. I think so far it's probably been one of my preferred steamship titles because it does get nice and steamy. However, a part of it felt a bit weird. It felt a little bit like I was reading a self-insert fantasy. Well, obviously it's a steamship, but oh, the sun's really not doing me any favours now, is it? Oh, this is why I stay in the shadows like this. I always feel really bad because like I started to get more into like a skincare routine because I've had some problems trying to help. And one of the things I always forget is sun cream. But I don't feel too bad because I legit leave the house maybe once or twice a month. And I don't really open my curtains, which is a whole issue in itself, but it's not the sun cream. But I need to try and get better into wearing my sunscreen. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. Basically, our main character is a 30-ish-year-old woman. Very short, very quiet, very mousy, very kind, very lovely. Never had any experience with a relationship. Big, bad, buff manager boy comes along and is like, I think it's like 2 pages in or something. He comes along and he's like, go out with me, date me. Where's the box? There it is. Date me. Be my girlfriend. And she gets a little scared because he's big scary buff boy at work. So she kind of goes, yeah, and it's like, what did I do? And she's very timid, naive, doesn't really know what she's doing, and he kind of tries to lead the way. I have some weird issues that happens a lot, not even just in steamship, but in smut in general. There's always like a weird hyperfixation on the lady chest area, and to the point that they start canoodling, and she isn't keen on interactions with the chest area. She says it's itchy, to which they spend then like a few chapters trying to remedy that before going any further, and that felt really weird to me. Like, maybe just she's not into that. Maybe, I don't know, try other things instead. And then it kind of like carries on, and now she is into it, and oh no, it just felt a bit weird to me, honestly. There's also a whole load of like all he's interested in is bedroom time and nothing else, and she's kind of too timid to really put her foot down too much. She does kind of, but I don't think it really sets into his head how much she means it until someone else external to the relationship is like, you do other things right, you don't just stay in your bedroom all the time. And he's like, is that a bad thing? And they're like, yes. So yeah, I did like it because it definitely was one of the better steamship titles in my opinion, but I still think it was almost, I think there were parts of this that were painted to be idyllic or fun or good in a relationship that aren't necessarily. But because she's very naive and is very new to this, she doesn't know. She just kind of went along with it, and maybe, I don't know, it's just like a fantasy drawn out by the mangaka. So I would like, it's something I feel like, I don't know if I'm just being way too wary or overcautious, or I'm like over-explaining, or I'm under-explaining. Tell me to shut up. No one can tell me to shut up. Oh no. Maybe come debate with me in the Discord further about the series if you have any more opinions, and I can try and think a better way to articulate my wording. Next we have Noblesse. I'm gonna call it Noblesse and hope. Noblesse. Nablesse, mate. I'm hope I'm vaguely correct. This is a webtoon. It is a big chunky boy, so like, I mean, compared to even this, it is tall. And then we've got a regular volume also for scale to both of those. I've actually been reading this on and off for a couple of weeks now, and I've just not been able to get into it at all. Also, I think just the webtoon format is just so chunky and big, but like there are pages that you go through really quickly because there's not much on them. Obviously, it's a webtoon, so in theory it wants you to scroll, not go left to right. But it's really, I don't feel like it's very balanced in that you'll have like a page where there's like nothing on it. You can just like flick through it really quickly. And then you'll have a page that has so much text that it just feels like it never ends. I don't know, like that is a lot of text on one page, in my opinion. Basically this guy is kind of woken up. We don't really know what he is just yet, I don't think, unless I've missed it. He's like ambled off and turned up at a school. He's been mistaken for a transfer student, and this guy who is the headmaster council man of the school actually knows him and calls him master, and he's been around for a long time, it seems. He ends up hanging around with a group of kids. There are some vampires in the city, and yeah, I think not a huge amount has been explained so far. I don't think, unless I like completely glossed over it. Strange creature man, may or may not be like vampire-y-ish, has woken up, is now attending school, is hanging out with this group of human school kids, and then they're like trying to figure out what happened and all sorts of other bits. It was okay, in my opinion, but I can't tell how much of it is like the story or just the format I struggled with. I'll keep reading. I mean, I'll always keep reading, but I so far have not been a massive fan on the big webtoon format. They're just too big in my opinion to hold nicely. I have to hold them with two hands, and I can't even flick the pages with one hand because I'd normally hold a page like that and I could flick the page with just my thumb. I can't do that with these, and that is such a pain. Okay, I'm going to show you the next two volumes I read. Both read them yesterday because they kind of fall into a similar vein, which wasn't on purpose, and that is Dangerous Convenience Store 2 and Punch Drunk Love 1. So I read Dangerous Convenience Store first. This is volume 2. It is continuing on, can't show that. It is continuing on the relationship of, and I found a nice page of them together where like they have their clothes on, of these two, Young Kid and Juicy. I don't remember their names. We kind of got a little bit more like story to this guy, and there was actually a lot of the volume is smart. A lot of the volume is smart, to be fair. My favourite bit about this volume was the end bonus chapter, which is like, it's focusing on the inner thoughts of, yeah, it's a side story. I can't believe it was a side story. I felt like it was kind of keen and important for the plot. We focus on like the inner thoughts of this guy, Juicy, from the start of volume 1 right up to the end of volume 2, and like what's happening, his emotions, his feelings, his thoughts, his process, why is he doing what he's doing. And like that was so nice to read, to see that it was like he is actually starting to develop some thoughts and feelings for this kid, and it isn't all just about bonesing. Maybe, well, so far it is though, I guess. I look forward to more volumes. I don't even believe it's a very long series, so I think we're probably a good way through, which is probably a good thing. And then the other one I read, Punch Drunk Love Volume 1, which is like quite similar. It's adult men boning. I actually really quite liked this one because not even just the smut. Basically, this guy here is super naive. Cats are going crazy. Maybe it's because Ben's not here. He's super naive and has a mega crush on this guy that he works with. And he has started making up these like filthy, degenerate, disgusting fantasies about them getting involved together, and all he wants is for potentially a one time to make one of his fantasies come true. Now he's quite like a plain looking guy. He wears really baggy clothes. He has these big old glasses, because glasses make you look gross, right? And he's in a meeting with this guy, and his phone goes off, and he kind of sees a dating application for gay men to hook up, and he's interested, and then he propositions him for an evening. He eventually says yes, and he's like, I'll just do some real kinky stuff to try and scare him away. Unfortunately, he's really into that, but he's just really awkward and a bit shit at conveying he's into that ish, kinda. So he thinks I've done some gross stuff that'll scare him away, and he's like, excellent, yes, I need another round. I enjoyed the awkward, shy, silly, kinky self-deprecation of this guy. It was really funny to read, and kind of really wholesome to see how happy he got just talking to him. It was a little creepy, to be fair, the whole stalkery-ish side between the two of them. But I think I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than Dangerous Convenience Store, potentially. I'm not sure yet. I think maybe at this point I'll want to complete them both. I don't know how long this one is, and then make a decision. I've just realized the sun's gone away. Now it started raining. This whole time I had like awful sun, now no sun. Damn, this lighting is not kind. Okay, so this video has ended up being a little bit of a fail, as I think I've pretty much failed to talk about a series as soon as I've read it the entire month, and I am really sorry. At least it's still kind of like a reading vlog video-ish, I guess, just not what I have done previously and what I intended this video to be. March and April have just so busy, like everywhere. I'm busy everywhere. So this is going to be the last tranche of stuff that I did read at the end of March. It is now about a week or so into April. Last tranche of stuff that I did read in March. I was kind of hoping to try and read a bit more than this, but I got some reading done. I was quite happy with that. At least I got some done. First volume was Taking Care of God. This was one of the volumes sent to me by Yen Press. Unfortunately, I didn't get through all the volumes they sent me. There's 3 left that I've still not yet read. So maybe I'll do another reading vlog and include those. Taking Care of God, it is a one-shot. I found it very weird. I found it confusing and I didn't understand the ending. I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think it's just not my kind of thing, really. It's very strange. These like odd spaceship craft things have surrounded the Earth, and then one day all of these like elderly folk descend from them to Earth, and basically it turns out they're like aliens slash the people that kind of created Earth as a place for them to retire to when they got too old, I think. And then there's kind of this whole deal about all these elderly aliens are divvied up across civilization on Earth to for them to take care of as like a it's your duty because they created the Earth. It's very strange. And the ending confused me. I didn't understand what happened. I read it a couple of times, like the last couple of chapters. I just didn't understand. I'm very confused. It was interesting. I definitely, I think it hooked me. I did read it quite quickly, but I just didn't follow it. But I think that's more me than the manga volume. Then we have The Prince is in the Villainess's Way, Volume 1. I was very hyped to pick this up because it's a villainess, and I saw reincarnation in the description. I got very excited, but it's not an isekai. She's reincarnated in the same world. Basically, she has been murdered and she has reincarnated as another person in this world. She doesn't remember until she's in her mid-teens or so, and then she realizes that actually she's been reincarnated as someone who is around at the same time as her first person, so she is able to go and meet the person she was before she was murdered. Basically she's now set herself on the path of trying to stop her first body, soul, from being murdered, because she knows who did it, but she doesn't really know why, so she's trying to figure that out and get in the way and befriend her first life, I guess. I must say, it's okay. I found it a little dull, and it did take me a little to get through. I just didn't find it that gripping, to be honest. It was okay. I'll keep reading it, especially because it's Villainess, but also I will anyway. But I'm not sure I'm going to recommend this one, especially because it's Tokyo Pop, and Tokyo Pop volumes are £14 in store. And on the back it says US dollars $13.99, but I'm fairly sure it's £13.99 as well. That's not how exchange rates work. It is very pricey, and it was meh, in my opinion. But pretty. I like the cover, so I'm a little disappointed by that. Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You, Volume 1. This was a bit of a weird read because it's a high school romance, and things kind of start to heat up and kick off between the love interests just as COVID hits, and they're in high school and height of youth, and they all have to go home and stay home, and things are getting cancelled. The guy love interest is, I think, on the swim team, and he's been working towards it and he's gonna do great, and then he can't because it all gets cancelled, and he's like, what do I do? I've been working towards this. It's so strange seeing COVID now in literature. I mean, of course, it was gonna happen. It's not like it was exactly a small event that only affected a few people. It was a global thing. But it's still a little strange to read about in this kind of context. I think I did like it. It is, what does it remind me of? It reminds me of Waiting for Spring, where there's a group of guys. There's this group of guys and one girl, and they've been childhood friends forever, and now they're in high school. And one of them has made a move on her, basically said, I love you, we should date, or would you date me, instead of demanding. He's quite polite about it. And she's thrown what? But we're friends. It is kind of cute. I like the art style, but it is very, very I would say modern high school romance style. I'm not sure how to describe it. And I quite like that style. It's very easy, nice to read, very pretty, generic. Well, generic feels like that's being mean, whereas I quite like it. Like that. That's the guy, I think. So I think I like it. It's a very quick read. It took me 10 minutes maybe, max. I think I liked it. But it's a group of guys, sport-themed high school romance with COVID thrown in the mix. She loves to cook, she loves to eat. Volume 3. If I did not read this, Lydia would put my head on a spike. I don't blame her. It's a wonderful series. I would probably say it is my favourite girls' love series in my collection. There are 3 volumes out currently and 4 comes out shortly. I think it's just such a nice... It isn't even just a nice representation of an adult romance. I think some of the topics they talk about in regards to just women in society is really interesting and profound, and also about family ties and all that. There's a whole bunch of more serious topics that isn't just about the romance between the two main characters, and I think all of that combined just makes it an excellent read. I highly recommend it, as does Liddy Moon. She probably does a much better sales pitch for the series than I do. And my voice will keep hold out. And in this volume we've been introduced to a couple new characters with, I was going to say that each have their own problems, which sounds like a negative. It's not meant to be a negative. They each have their own problems, and we kind of just see the whole group accept each other for who they are regardless of their different quirks and such, and it's just so nice to read. Look forward to volume 4. But it does make me sad. It wasn't even like a part of a chapter or anything. I think it was just like a 4-panel thing towards the end. Like, it's not even 4 panels, it's 3 panels. And I just started crying. It's not even that deep. It just made me cry. So go in with tissues. Not in a weird way. Next volume, I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness. I'll spoil her with delicacies and style to make her the happiest woman in the world. Volume 3. This, I think, is my favourite volume of the series so far. It sounds filthy and degenerate, but it's not. It is like one of the most wholesome manga series that I have ever read. And it is a series that makes me squeal and go like when I read it, similar to Beans. I very much highly recommend it. I do think a lot of people got put off because they saw the title and were like, oh, it's just some filthy degenerate. It's really, really not. It's like a clickbait. Don't read the main title, read the subtitle. That's like the actual premise of the story. And this was beautiful. They went on a trip together and worked together, and she was able to, it was just so good and nice. Please try this one. Please. I'd love more people to read this one. It is like grossly wholesome. If you find like grossly wholesome too much, or like sickeningly sweet, but sickeningly sweet usually turns me off, but not this. They're both a bit oblivious, which makes it helps a little bit, but it's like they're so oblivious, but that's not stopping the progression of the relationship still, which I'm more fine with than if it just flat out nothing happened, like Rent a Girlfriend, which nothing happens. This is like, there is still development, just neither of them seem to realize there's development. I have volume 4 as well. I am very excited. Last volume, I think, though I got a little muddled with some of my stacks. I think this is the last volume I read in March, and that is The Ruthless Commander and His Reincarnated Horse. This is a one-shot. It is published by Kuma, and if you are not aware who Kuma are, it is basically the LGBTQ equivalent of vacuum. So this is smut, basically. And when you read that title and you question, you're like, horse? Yeah, the horse. If it makes it any better, he does develop the ability to morph back into a man, a human man, and he can swap between his human form and his horse form. If that makes it any better. But it is exactly what it says. It's about a relationship between a commander and his war horse. It was slightly wholesome, I guess. It was a little strange. There was a lot of horse puns, as you might expect. Yeah. It's nice and bright orange. I like the neon colour. It does also have a cover, but underneath it's just the horse. There's nothing weird underneath. And then it's just wafting his tail. It's just him being a happy little horse. It is very strange. There are questionable parts in it, I guess. He was a horse. If you're interested in collecting Kuma, or you don't mind some of the more interesting series, this might be something you'd be interested in picking up. I wouldn't say it's good. I'd say it's a novelty, probably. I don't think there wasn't really any plot to it either, I'll be honest. Man gets reincarnated as horse. Horse is found by commander. Commander takes horse. Turns out horse can become human. Human, horse, and commander get into bed together. Most of the plot, to be honest. So that wraps up my March reading vlog. It very much did not turn into a read as I go, but I am still talking a bit about what I read, which I think sometimes some people do like. I was basically just doing a wrap up at the end of a week, which I did quite enjoy, so I might just do some shorter ones occasionally when I have the mood and I feel I have the time and the physical capabilities of doing so. I might just do random weeks where this is what I read in the week, and it'll just be like a 10-15 minute video of like what I've read this week and that kind of deal, Rooney. Generally these kind of videos don't do as good on YouTube, which is kind of disheartening to do because often they can be some of the most effort you have to put into it, which is often one of the reasons people are like, why don't you do more recommendation videos? So they just don't tend to do good. And I tend to more often talk about my recommendations on other social medias, like on Discord, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok occasionally if I remember. So it isn't like I don't do it, I just don't tend to as much on YouTube. But I might try and do some shorter, dinkier ones to disperse here and there, maybe when the mood picks and strikes. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. None of this is saying that I'll never do recommendations. I will still do recommendations. I am currently trying to pen out and plan out my isekai month again, which I think was June. I think it was June last year, so I'll keep it June this year. Trying to figure that out, and I think I'll start doing some of these randomly. Let me know in the comments what you thought of my reads and such. Did you agree, disagree? Have you read anything neat recently? That kind of thing. Have you picked up Beans? I read the Beans light novel. Wait, no, I read that in April. That doesn't count. Never mind. I am currently on lunch, so I'm going to dash off to go and get something to eat real quick before I have to go back to work. So remember to give this video a like and subscribe for lots of manga content. Check out my channel memberships for 99p a month for early access and lots of cute emotes when I live stream. I'm doing lots of live streams during April, and I'm probably not going to keep it at a live stream a week. Maybe. I'll see how I do. I've not been doing too bad at the moment. I think I just need to get more on top of some other things. Remember to check out my other social medias and the Dudette Discord. Links can be found down below. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you next time. Bye!